Let me ask you the third question, Gary. Which of your 6 steps to successfully reduce insurance dependence is most important?
Okay, so I kind of feel like each one is most important, right? They're all important. Um, but I'm going to answer the question because it was asked. I'm gonna answer it directly. They're all important, all 6. If you go back to the coaching action segment or listen to the podcast that we shared, the 6 steps to successful resign from PPO plans, you'll learn what those 6 steps are. I think step number 5, elevating the relationship driven aspect of your practice, is the most important step. And the reason for that is the more relationship driven you are, you and your team, the more you connect, develop rapport and relationship with your patients, the less likely that the patient is to leave. Some will still leave, but the less likely they are to leave. And right behind it, like literally right behind it, the second most important one is step 2, and that's to develop a comprehensive marketing plan to not only replace any patients you might lose, but to replace the historic flow of patients that have come by being listed on the websites of the insurance companies. And that's right behind it. And that's the second most important.
Thank you. Absolutely. That makes total sense. What you're saying is when you are a PPO practice, you're just going from patient to patient, somehow like pedaling faster. When you are not, you can now spend time, get to know your patients, find
Well, that's
out
the
what they
conundrum.
want.
That's the conundrum with step 5. Everything, being more relationship driven.
Right.
Everything about being a PPO practice takes you away from being relationship driven.
Right.
Everything. You've got to now pedal, you got to feel like the hamster on the treadmill. You got to strap roller skates on your feet in the morning, and not only put the roller skates on, but be sure to put the rocket boosters on the back of the roller skates. So you got to shoot down the halls. And that's what causes so much stress and frustration for dentists. It doesn't have to be that way.
Right. And also you don't feel any happiness, right? Because you don't even talk to your patient. You don't even find out what they want. You can't even listen to them say thank you because you're off to the next patient.
You got to swoosh off to the next one.
Yeah.
It is just not rewarding. It's not a health-centered,
Yeah.
relationship-driven practice. It's a transaction. They came to you because you took their insurance.
Exactly.
I mean, how many times, Doctor, have you heard the phrase that causes you to cringe? Does my insurance cover that? And it usually comes with the tone. Does my insurance cover that? Well, unfortunately, Joe, no, it doesn't. And they're mad at you because, and they're not interested in it if it's not covered. So, attract people that aren't brought to you because of insurance, and you won't get those questions. You may get questions like, for example, Doc, I don't understand that missing tooth that I have on the upper right. It's way in the back. You can't even see it. Why should I replace it? That's a fair question. Yeah, that's a perfectly fair question. I think any doctor listening to this would have no trouble answering that question. That's instead of does my insurance cover? It's a whole shift in mindset and in how patients see see what you do, value what you do. Sadly, when people don't pay for things, they don't value it.
Yeah.
Many of your patients don't value you.
Right. And unfortunately, we don't know what we don't know. Like I have seen firsthand, like many of Gary's clients, because many of them are Equa clients, talk about some of the things that happened after they started working with Gary and after they started reducing insurance dependence. And the thing that jumped out at me is not that, oh, I'm making an extra $300,000 in profit and I built that extra balcony in my house or whatever. But it's like, I feel joy. I feel like jumping out of bed and going to work. I feel like I'm working less because I'm
I
not
feel like
like,
I'm recharged because
I know.
now I'm doing in my day-to-day work the reason I got into practice, which was I got into dentistry, which is to make a difference in people's lives.
Yeah.
I'm doing that. And
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that's the most rewarding and gratifying thing for me to hear. Yeah, it's great to see the numbers and all that's great.
Right.
But what about truly finding joy and passion reignited in your practice?
Yeah. I know you are committing your next phase of your life to, helping hopefully, maybe a few hundred more doctors
Yeah,
discover.
this season of my career is all about helping as many dentists as possible develop a thriving practice because that result is such a joy.
Yeah. And yeah, and I see it like I've mentioned this before, like, even the Google reviews of Life Smiles, right? That's a practice that's joy. Patients just love you to death. Anybody who's curious, go to Google Life Smiles Dental Care Phoenix reviews and read the reviews. Just if you want to feel excited, read those reviews, because that is a practice that I cannot wait to go to and work in. Not whether I'm employee or the doctor owner, right? It's just fun. Like, people love you, you love what you do, your team is all behind you.
And all of you can do the same thing in your own way and
Yeah,
style and vision and passion. All of that can be adapted to you.
yeah. Let me ask you the last question number 4, Gary. It seems like every dental office in my city is a PPO practice. Can I do this in a highly competitive area like mine?
Yeah, the answer again is yes. And let me explain, share a little story with you. Recently, one of our clients that is in the middle of this journey, this is an office that is 85% PPO. This is a doctor who's very involved in a local AGD study club. And I'm applauding his involvement in the AGD study club because he's already earned his fellowship and now he's working on his mastership. And so he's made that decision. Now he goes to his local AGD study club. And of course, they're all friends. They've been joining together in the study club for a while. And they're like, hey, what's new in your practice? And he says, well, one of the things I'm doing is I finally had it with PPO plans. I'm resigning from PPO plans. And his colleagues, he said, man, you can't do that. You should know better than this. You can't do that here. You realize how competitive it is? And all of his colleagues were singing the same tune. Now, they were not trying to be negative or trying to be, trying to pop his balloon, burst the balloon, but that's how they feel. They feel like they have no choice. And anyway, we had talked about this, and he has some confidence around this because of what we've already experienced. He's successfully, he's midstream. He said, well, I'm doing it. And man, if any of you guys want to know about this, I'll be happy to share what I'm doing because there's room for more. Jump in, the water's warm. But they're, oh no, that's too scary. I could never do that. So be prepared. You're going to encounter resistance, and it's not nefarious. It's really like they truly believe that they can do it. And you know what? If they believe that, they're right.
Yeah.
I think it was Henry Ford that famously said, "Believe that you can, believe that you can't, and either way, you're right." And there's some wisdom in that thinking. Well, Naren, as we
100%.
wrap up today, this has been a fun episode. It was a teaser in the headline about your biggest expense. Your biggest expense is not your wages. Your biggest expense, if you're a PPO practice, is the amount of money you're writing off to PPO plans. If you want to improve your bottom line, you want to improve the joy and fulfillment you get from the profession, and consider reducing your insurance dependence.